So I just built an AI employee that's about to generate 5,000 leads for my brand new book, The Delegation Trap. Now, I know that probably sounds pretty sexy and it's like, oh my gosh, how'd you do that? But today, I wanted to walk you through the process and talk about something that no one else wants to talk about. And that is the hidden costs of AI. Okay, so let me tell you the story of how this all happened. So about a week and a half ago, I met a new friend, Jen Kim, and we were talking about my new book because she just released a book back in April and sold 25,000 copies, I think, in the first month. And we were talking about it and talking about the process and so on and so forth as, fellow authors. And one of the suggestions that she gave me, which makes perfect sense, is because that's what we do in digital marketing, is who has congregated your audience. And let's think about that. The book I'm writing is for business leaders and business owners, and so very often chambers of commerce. It's like, yeah, so what if you can get chambers of commerce promoting your book for you? And I'm thinking, man, that's a great idea. Why didn't I think of that? But that's how it happens, right? Anyway, so as she's saying that, I'm thinking, yes. And it would be even better if I could build an AI employee that can go find me all of the contact information for all of the Chamber of Commerce's out there and then start a campaign to all of them. Wow. Okay. And so then I got off the building. So now let me show you and walk you through kind of what happened and the process I went through. So that was the idea. And so I went to chat and I asked chat, where can I find a list of Chamber of, I cannot spell, Commerce's in the US? Yes, bad spelling, Atiba. And chat came back with this list here for me. And so I went to each of these websites to kind of take a look at them and see what they had. And I settled on this one, uschamber.com. And here, by state, they have the different chambers of commerces listed, right? And each state had its own URL where it listed all of the chamber of commerces. So recognizing that, I'm sitting there thinking, okay, so what does the employee need to do? Well, the employee needs to come to this website. It needs to figure out all of the states. So it needs to know all of the states, right? Then it needs to get the URL for all of the states. Then it needs to go to that URL and capture all of the different chambers listed on these, on each one of these URLs, right? And you have the chamber name, you have the address, and you have the chamber's website. So we need to capture all of that information first. Then we need to go to the chamber's website and see if we can find contact information for whoever the chapter leader for this chamber is. That's the process that needs to happen. That's what the employee needs to do. And so that's what I wrote out. Okay. So I'm thinking, okay, how do we make all of that happen? Now, I'm going to use N8N and I'm going to show you first what we ended up producing. Okay. So we're going to start here. As I said, we had to go figure out the list of states. And so it went through and it found all the states that were listed on that page and all of the URLs for all of the states listed on that page. So that was the first thing. Then it had to go get the chamber list, right? So it went to each state's page and scraped through for all of the chamber lists. Remember, I said it's going to get the name of the chamber, the URL, and its address. Okay. And as you can see down here in small type, there are 4,587 of them in total. 4,587 of them. So now we have the list of all of the chambers. Okay. But that doesn't get me the chamber leaders. It gets me no information for contact. And so then we need to start to build this out here, which is all of the email addresses as we scrape those websites. Now, not every website is going to have the email address listed. That's just one of the risks, right? We don't know that. And it's currently running. I don't know if you can see down here, we have 528 leads so far. And as it keeps running, it's going to just keep growing. Okay. And so it builds this entire Airtable database here for me now. And now I've got their email address, I've got a phone number, I've the URL for the chamber, I have their Facebook, their Instagram, their LinkedIn. Okay, so I've got all sorts of information on the Chamber of Commerce now where I can go and attempt to connect with them and introduce them to my book. And that was the entire point. And so this looks great, and it's going to run, and it's honestly, it's probably going to take a few days to go through all 4,500 of those websites and pull all of the data. And so far, as you see, it's gotten 528 leads, and it's been running for probably 8 hours so far. Okay, so to get through 4,500, it's going to take a few days. And it's just a process that's running in the background, and we're just going to let it run. Okay, so now this is what it produced. And you're thinking, man, this is great. You got leads. You got to be excited. You can now go do email campaigns and all sorts of things now that you've got all this information. And yes, but we're here to talk about the hidden cost, So let me now walk you through what it took to get to those leads. And let's start to talk about what it cost. So there were actually 3 workflows. And I know this is a bit of a mess to look at right here. But if you could kind of see, this is one workflow here. Okay. That I built. What this workflow here did is it used this tool called Firecrawl to go through the chamber website and grab all the states. So that was the first thing. As we said, we had to go grab all the states, and we stuck them all in the end in Airtable. Okay. Firecrawl as a tool, I think I paid $40 a month for it. And then we needed to call OpenAI. The agent here used ChatGPT, or the chat model. Not ChatGPT, but the chat model. And so that probably cost me a fraction of a penny to make this call. Okay. So that's what it costs to grab the states. Then after I had the states, I had to go through all of the states and run through them again, and now go get all of the listings for all of the chambers on the states. So again, Firecrawl, okay, still the same $40, so it doesn't cost me any more here for going through and scraping all of those states. And so it scrapes them, and then it sends it off to OpenAI and says, hey, I want you to go through what I've scraped, because all it's doing is scraping all the data from the web page, right? It doesn't discriminate. It just brings back the entire web page. And so then OpenAI goes through and cleans that out and just pulls out the data that we actually need and drops that into Airtable. That might have cost me to do all of the states. Might have cost $1.50 or so to get through all of it. Okay. All right. So far, not too bad. So far, you're saying, hey, that's definitely cheaper than a human, right? Definitely worth it. Now let's get down to this last workflow here. And this is the one that's running right now. Okay, that's producing all of the leads here. This is the one that's running. And so now what this one does is it goes out and it grabs all of the 4,500 chambers of commerce that we found and all of their URLs, and it's looping through them one at a time. And it's using this tool called Appify, right? And Appify has actors that goes out and can scrape for specific data. So Firecrawl just goes and grabs everything off of a single page. Whereas now in Appify, I have a tool in there, an actor in there that can go and traverse your entire website to look for specific data. Okay, specific data. Now, it goes out and it does that, and it's looking for your phone number, your email address, and any of your social media. Okay. When it finds that, it grabs it and sends it off and drops it back into this Airtable database here, which is what we've been looking at, the leads list. Okay. And it's running, and it runs one at a time. And this is why it's going to take a while, because every time it goes out to scrape a site, it takes about 40 to 50 seconds to go through and find the data on each site. So for 4,500 sites, that's a long time, right? But what does it cost? And this is what we want to talk about, is the hidden cost. What is it actually costing me? Every time Appify runs, on average, I'm spending about 76 cents. So let me pull up a calculator here. And let's just do some math. So we have 4,500 records, and every time it runs, it's costing me 76 cents. So that's $3,400. So in order to build this list, it's going to cost me $3,400. Now, you may be sitting there and saying, yeah, but Atiba, it would have taken a human a lot longer and cost more than $3,400 to build that list for you. And you're absolutely right. It would have taken a human more time and cost more. But this misnomer that so many of us have, that, we're going to use AI employees because they're going to be just cheaper or cost nothing. And I actually was talking with someone the other day, and they said that on a call. It was like, well, let's just get an AI employee because it will only cost us to build it, and then it will be free after that. It's not, y'all. There are costs. There are costs to building and using AI employees. Now, everyone is different. This one, obviously, because of the type of work it's doing, is going to cost more. Others are going to cost less, but you have to understand the cost because they will pile up. The tool cost in there, right? Firecrawl, I'm paying $40 a month for. Appify, I'm paying more than that a month for, right? Plus the usage. These things add up. And it's important that we start to recognize that and take that into account into our accounting of what it costs to run our organization. So your accounting, the way you're running and figuring out what it costs to run your organization, needs to change as you use more and more AI, because you have to be able to factor in these types of hidden fees that come up. So hope this was helpful. I'm still super excited about the fact that this thing is running, and I'm now up to, what does that say? 500. So I just got 3 more leads in the time that we've been talking here, right? It was at 528, now I'm 531. And so this thing is running, and I'm getting more and more and more leads being added here. And we're going to build a campaign, which, by the way, is going to cost money too. And we're going to build another AI employee that's going to do all of the campaign and follow up for all of the people on this list. I'm super excited about that, because how else would I have done this? It would have cost me a lot more. But it is important to realize it is costing me something right now.